We picture leadership arriving like a thunderclap. We expect a loud, dramatic visionary who crashes through the ceiling, demanding attention with sweeping decisions and a perfect confidence that never shatters. The public expectation is that whoever holds the title is immune to gravity, that they can make the heavy calls, absorb the friction, and guide the ship without ever feeling the emotional recoil that would stagger anyone else. Building a life on pure force is a trap. It relies on willfulness, a clenched, defensive posture, and an absolute insistence on controlling the outcome, all driven by a quiet terror of not being enough. That stubbornness creates immense friction. The leader wraps themselves in heavy armor to project strength, but that armor suffocates their spirit. It cuts them off from the reality of the people around them, leaving them entirely brittle. Below, the crowd grazes in synchronized circles, finding comfort in the middle and mistaking proximity for purpose. The true leader has to test the rock and measure the slope, seeking higher, clearer ground, even when the wind there is harsh. If a loud, unbreakable performance eventually cracks under its own weight, how does a leader actually survive the climb? The answer never happens on a stage. Sustainable leadership relies on an entirely unseen anatomy, a quiet, unglamorous system of daily practices that take place long before the meeting starts. Purpose rarely arrives with a grand cinematic plan. It taps your shoulder in the quiet hours and asks a very simple, relentless question. Where will you aim your intention today? It hides in completely ordinary choices. The grace you offer at breakfast, the deliberate pause before you react, the quiet decision to listen all the way through instead of putting on a performance. Courage requires the physical reality of moving forward, while dread watches you do it. It is the trembling hand hovering over the latch and the sweat on the spine at the starting line. That nervous electricity in the chest serves as the essential engine of action. The initiation into the role requires a single, unsteady step taken in the dark, trusting the ground to appear long before any certainty arrives. Then comes the reality of the work. You have to look someone in the eye and make a decision that alters their life, knowing they get no say in how. After the door closes and the room empties, you have to go somewhere to process the aftermath. There is a private, unmapped space where you let your body feel the impact without an audience, before you straighten your collar and face the hallway again. Some walk away from those moments without pausing. They have simply learned to ignore the human cost of the things they carry. Willfulness operates as a tightly closed node, blocking incoming reality to maintain control. Willingness drops the ego. To open into a wide conduit, you actively process your history, becoming a transparent vessel for your team instead of projecting unresolved friction. You cannot survive the emotional toll by pretending to be unbreakable. Genuine resilience requires standing fully exposed in your own reality. Nobody hands you a certificate when you become a leader. The formation happens in the margins, the slow accumulation of small, disciplined choices made in the unremarkable hours. This animation shows formation as a process of subtraction. It requires shedding the performed, ornamental self, peeling away the need to impress, until only the solid, authentic core remains. This state of humility offers the freedom of releasing your interior monologue, allowing you to simply think of yourself less. When you aren't distracted by your own ego, you can hear hard truths without defending yourself. You ask questions before you conclude. You hold your convictions loosely enough to let new information inside. A fully formed leader is the person who maintains the quiet discipline of staying open in a corporate environment that constantly rewards rigid certainty. The psychological weight of the role never truly leaves the building. It rides in the passenger seat on the way home, and it sits next to you at the dinner table. There are those who bear this weight, and those who are completely buried by it. Survival relies on a practiced discipline of setting the burden down just long enough to remember you are more than what you carry. The burden was never designed to be shouldered in complete isolation. You need people to hold the other end of the rope. They aren't there to rescue you or fix the immediate crisis. They are peers who sit in the quiet with you, sharing the psychological tension so you don't have to carry it in secret.
The leader who remains standing pays the emotional cost with their eyes wide open, allowing the work to deeply matter. The ultimate achievement is having the quiet, steady courage to wake up tomorrow, step back into the room, and carry the weight alongside the people you serve.